Hey everyone, it's Broman. Welcome back to episode 19. Episode 19. Welcome back. Episode 19 of Ask Broman. It is Monday, November 11th. Or November. It's December, guys. I'm wore out. December 11th. I can't believe it. We're so close to the end of the year. So goddamn close to the end of the year. I cannot believe that it's right there, and then it's going to be 2018 and we're all going to be chasing new dreams or the same dream. I don't know. It's going to be exciting, but welcome either way. If you're new, you never listened to this before, hi, I'm Broman. I do a whole bunch of stuff online. I got a successful Twitch channel, an all right YouTube channel, and I do a bunch of other stuff. I'm the charity director for a big gaming convention, and I own a coffee company. So I do a lot of random shit, and this is a call-in show. So if you're ever interested in joining us on Ask Broman, you can follow me on Twitter, @Professor Broman. I tweet out when we do this, and you can come and ask your own questions, just like, let's grab this dude. Let's grab this dude. This is Silmera, and we'll find out what Silmera would like to find out from me.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, God, you're so loud, my ears. Okay, no, it's fine. You're fine.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's my fault. I never learn. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing quite well, Mr. Broman. How are you?
Oh, you don't have to call me Mister, but
well,
I appreciate
it. How's that?
Sir, God damn it. Were you raised in the South?
No, I'm Canadian.
Oh, damn it. Okay. All right. Is that a normal, before we get into your question, I'm sorry, I'm going to be selfish. Is that normal in Canada? Like, do they sir and ma'am everybody there?
It really depends on the context and where you're saying it, but I mean, it's just like one of those signs of respect things. But at least from my perspective.
I got you. Most of my friends that like refuse to not say, like, they're like, no, it's sir or ma'am. And I'm like, okay, cool. So like, I guess growing up in Alabama was fun. But yeah, Canada, that's new for me. So, what can I do for you?
So I got a few questions here. I hope not to take too much of your time.
You can take as much as you want. That's the whole reason we're here.
Yeah, well, I'm all about equal opportunity. So
this guy, so Canadian.
Yep. So I haven't really established myself as a streamer, and I'm sort of running through the backgrounds of it and trying to get myself set up, because in the new year I actually do want to start streaming.
Okay.
I'm becoming a little bit too tired of my job, and I want something different. I want to explore something that I'm really passionate about, and I really enjoy playing video games and interacting with people, so why not combine the two?
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good.
First question.
It's a great stress reliever, even if it doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So my first question is short-term goals versus long-term goals. Should I set myself up to have a whole bunch of short-term goals? Should I have myself set up so that I can have a bunch of a couple long-term goals and work towards those constantly? Or should I sort of find a middle ground between the two?
Long-term. I mean, I'm always going to tell you long-term goals, because it's going to it will force you to make the right decisions short-term.
Okay.
You're going to, at least if you're on Twitch, you're already going to have a set of goals that they're going to put in front of you, like on how to get partnership and affiliate, and all the other stuff. If you really want to do this and you really want to do it full time, right? You're talking about doing it for the rest of your life. So doing anything when you're like, I want to do this for 20 years until I retire or whatever, making short-term decisions when you have a 20-year time scale is like, it's just a shit way to make choices.
Okay.
And yeah, like there's going to be week-to-week things that you're going to want to tweak. But if you're talking about setting overall goals, I think that long-term and then plan backwards.
All right.
Is the best way to do it. You know, like not setting any arbitrary goals on yourself, but saying like, I want to be partnered within 2 years. Okay, let's work backwards. What does that mean I need to do on a day-to-day basis? And you get to the short term, but you get there from the long term, not the other way around, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I'm picking it up.
Gotcha.
Next question. Suggested scheduling. Should I try and gear myself more towards like daytime streaming, or should I aim more towards evening streaming, or should I just play it by ear and cater to the audience more?
You should definitely stream what fits in your schedule long term.
Okay.
I used to do all right, hang on one second. We're going to break the fourth wall here for a second. Everyone who's listening on the podcast. Okay. Because if you didn't know, we do this live on Twitch. And right now, Tim, one of our previous guests on Twitch, has just sent us all of his viewers. So we're going to say hello to them quickly. For those of you listening on the podcast, I don't usually do this, but it's important. Tim and everyone from Tim's community, Darkness, thank you very much. Welcome. And I love you. We're in the middle of Ask Broman. So please join us. So Silmero, what I used to tell everybody about scheduling was you need to ideally select the best time for you. Okay. The time where you're going to have maximum exposure and stuff. That's awesome long term. Like if you can sustain that. But let's say the best time slot for exposure right now is 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's not a slot that's easy to fit into your life if you have another full-time job. So you have to find what works, and then inside of that framework, you need to find what's best. Because if you I spent 6 months one time. This is a personal story, but I spent 6 months doing what was statistically the best thing for my growth on stream, and it ruined my relationship with my wife for 6 months. I was continuously exhausted and always fucking pissed off. Right?
Okay.
So, there are always things that are going to be best, but you have to understand there's so many other factors besides schedule, even your rhythm, your day-night sleeping rhythm, making sure you're in sync with what makes the most sense for you so you can produce the best possible content is incredibly important. So I would recommend finding what works for you and then going hard on that.
Okay. All right. Another question I have with regards to variety streaming. Should I stick to only a few things? For example, just stick to video games, and then further down from that, certain games that I really do enjoy playing, or should I broaden the horizon a little bit and go for more IRL stuff and possibly even playing some music? I used to double as actor, musician, comedian a few years ago, but that has since fizzled out.
Okay.
But I think it'd be pretty interesting and pretty unique to sort of start up a Twitch stream, and instead of playing video games one evening, just pick up my bass guitar, have a couple buddies come over, and we just sort of jam out to people and sort of interact that way.
Yeah. You need to do whatever looks interesting to you.
Okay.
I've talked about this a couple times, and I find this to be incredibly important, right? A lot of times people will look at the way things currently are as a creator and say that that's the way it has to be done. This is how everyone's doing their thumbnails on YouTube, so I have to do my thumbnails just like that. I did a deliberate experiment for a month. The month that Destiny 2 came out, which was, a primary form of content for my YouTube channel, I didn't manufacture a single thumbnail. No title, no nothing, just a stupid fucking look on my face, right? For a month. Those videos had more engagement than any other previous Destiny videos. Because when you are scrolling through, the tabs of Destiny videos, that's perfectly manufactured thumbnail, random bald guy making a face like he's taking a shit. So there are you don't necessarily have to do the same things that everyone else is doing, right?
Okay.
And I would encourage you that if something intrigues you, and your first reaction to it is that'll never work, that might be the thing that is the difference maker for you.
Okay.
So instead of taking common law knowledge and wisdom and saying this is or isn't how it works, taking the thing you want to do and finding a way to make it work is that's where the magic is. That's where the creativity comes in, and that can ultimately be a huge decision. It could be a huge decider on whether or not your channel is successful. one of the things that I have always made a point of doing on Twitch is I tell assholes to go fuck themselves on the internet. And while there is a growing number of people that tell assholes to go fuck themselves on the internet, when I started doing that on Twitch, it was really off-putting. A lot of people were like, oh God, this guy doesn't even care about his community. I'm like, no, I care about it a lot. That's why the assholes can go fuck themselves. Mm-hmm. You know, that was something that was different, and it was against common knowledge, which was just like, well, you got to be nice to everybody because you don't want to lose a single viewer. It's so important. And now, you know, because I've been, I guess, right about it in a long-term sense, and I've been successful growing my channel and growing all of my platforms by just not taking shit from people on Twitch and stuff. You know, people now look at that as a way to do things. But when I started, that was, you know, there was a couple people that were like that, but it was not common knowledge. There wasn't a lot of people doing it.
Okay. What do you think is the best approach to networking in terms of like not trying to be that guy and hop onto someone's stream and say, hey, come play with me, or hey, I want to try and be your friend. Can we something like that?
Yeah. So that's networking, right?
Okay.
And I don't think directly coming out at someone being like, hey, let's do stuff together in an open forum is the way to do it.
Okay.
Become a part of their community, become someone that they want to talk to. And then after that, you can go in for an ask like, hey, I'd love to stream together. You know, that makes sense in the long term, as opposed to just being like, nah, like, you know, I'm just going to mass DM 100 different people on Twitch. That's a great way to get yourself.
Picks it up.
That's a great way to get yourself blacklisted. I think mass DMing people is awesome. Like, if you're growing a business, if you're whatever, like, that's great. But if you're looking for collaborators and people you want to create with in a long-term environment, you do need to focus on building that relationship first, because you're not just asking for their time. You're potentially asking for, you know, like, it's their money, it's their whole well-being that you're asking to become a part of. So it's a big ask, and sort of respecting that will take you a long way. So just slow it down, wait until you feel like it's the right time, and then ask, like, yo, let's stream together. Or happenstance can bring you together. You know, maybe you lob a grenade in a fucking battle royale match and you kill the #1 streamer. And they're like, who the fuck is this? And they're like, oh, you're a streamer. Well, let's fucking play together because that was bullshit. You know, there's a lot of different, you know, serendipity exists as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And my final question, like, establishing yourself as a streamer, do you think that it would be best to have upfront a sort of gimmick or shtick, as it were? Or should you, when starting out, be more of a person that creates the content and interacts with the crowd, and then slowly bring in like a character persona, for example?
Are you a gimmicky, shticky kind of person?
I'm not opposed to the idea. Is
it something that you do in your everyday life? Like, not really. You the guy that's always making dad jokes and shit?
Every once in a while.
Okay.
But nothing too excessive.
The reason I ask that is it just needs to be authentic.
Okay.
Like, it needs to be authentic. So if you're a gimmicky person, if you're a massive meme lord, and you make that what your channel's about, it fits. Mm-hmm. If you're not, then it will ring hollow to people. So if it is ultimately what fits with your personality the best. So if you love dad jokes and your whole stream's dad jokes, it's awesome. If you hate dad jokes and your whole stream's dad jokes, there's probably going to be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for me.
Cool. I have a piece of advice for you before you go.
Certainly.
Right now, there are some places where you can broadcast content that are underrepresented. They don't have a lot of creators in them. I would highly recommend you check out Facebook Live. It's a wasteland for gaming content, and everyone in chat and everyone who's part of the gaming space is going to go LOL Facebook, ha ha ha, whatever. Guess what? If you're one of the 5 people who stream name a huge video game on Twitch or on Facebook the day that it launches, and that also happens to be the day that Facebook's like, hey, guess what? We do gaming live streaming, and here's who we got. Now you have 20,000 viewers, and everyone else can eat a dick. So it's worth looking at. Historically, Facebook has done a really good job of monetizing content that they really believe in and has had strong effect for them.
Okay.
And some other people that I've kind of pointed in that direction that have decided to experiment with streaming on Facebook with gaming content have had really good results.
Okay.
Yeah.
So diversify the portfolio, as it were.
Yeah, exactly. You're not committed to anything right now. There are websites like restream.io where you can put your channel on a bunch of different streaming sites at the same time, and you can integrate chat on your end. So you are interacting with one chat, and you can just track which one's doing best and then decide where to leverage.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time and for your answers. I'm definitely going to be taking all the information to heart, and I look forward to starting my new adventure.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. Keep me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere. So if you ever want, like to bounce an idea off me, just let me know. I like to make myself available.
Okay, cool. I will definitely do that. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, dude. Have a good day.
You as well.
All right, bye. What a cool guy. I always love people that are trying to plan stuff out before they get started. Like, the intentionality is great. Let's grab some guy in Ohio. Hello, some guy in Ohio. I hope that you are having a good day and also maybe can unmute your microphone, because that would be super awesome. Or perhaps you have walked away and are taking a shit and missing your chance at talking, which sucks. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you are taking a shit, and we will grab someone else. Let's grab Keel. Hey, Keel, what's up?
Hey.
Hi, how
are you doing today,
friend?
Broman?
I'm doing great.
I'm very excited and a little bit nervous.
Good. No. What can I do for you?
I had a couple of questions. Of course, I've talked to you a little bit on Twitter here and again. But my first question was, when talking on social media and trying to convey tone, and how can you have a good way to convey tone while also not coming across as that guy who's just constantly being annoying?
So I mean, give me a little bit more context. Are you talking about like you're a comedian and you're on Twitter and now you're worried that you're pissing people off, or what? What's the full story?
Trying to, like, for me personally, like it's mostly comes from my anxiety when it flares. Like I try to talk to people and I'll feel like I'm trying to reach out, but then I feel like I sometimes do too much. And it's a matter of trying to figure out where that line is without pretty much being a douchewad.
Yeah.
While still being able to communicate and get to grow and meet people and build relationships. But you're not like constantly like I don't want to feel like, if say I'm sending you a tweet that I'm like, oh crap, I seem like I'm begging for attention.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, don't be begging for attention. I know that sounds like really painfully obvious, but like, don't be begging for attention. Do you feel like you are often, like, legitimately?
I don't know that I am. Like, the logical part of my brain says I'm not, but then like there's times where my anxiety will be like, you're doing too much.
Okay, yeah. So you get worried after the fact.
Yeah.
If you're trying to reach out and talk to people and that's your goal, I get anxious sometimes too. But like, if your goal is that you want to be a friend and not use someone, then you're fine. And it'll come out in the wash, even if you come off as a douchebag in the first time. In the first interaction, it'll come out over time. Like, oh no, this guy is just, we got off on a bad foot, blah, blah, blah. I can't tell you how many people I have gotten off on a bad foot because the first time they contacted me, they were a massive jackass, or they just really seemed like one. And then by the time I got to know them, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, well then, yeah, they're nice. So I wouldn't worry about it too much up front. As long as you're not actually out there begging for attention, you're fine.
Okay, awesome. And then my second question. So, I'm a part-time streamer. I actually got affiliated back in around the end of April or so, and but my full-time position is I'm a physics teacher
Sure.
for high schoolers, and so I was curious if maybe you would have any suggestions on how I could bring like the love of my subject into my content. I've been playing games like Oxygen Not Included and Don't Starve, and trying to find games where I can kind of have a little bit more of that experiment feel that I like, but I feel like I can't fully bring my content, like my home and work content, into the content that I love and enjoy so much.
I mean, it sounds like you've already got a good plan. You're the second physics teacher I think we've had on in 2 weeks. There are a lot of games on Twitch that you can use to talk about that, but also if you're a physics teacher and that's something that you're passionate about, Twitch has a relatively intelligent audience base, and since you got your affiliate status, I'm going to assume that you're pretty committed to being on Twitch. So just fucking talk about it. Like, talk about it. The fact that you teach physics and the fact that you're a teacher, like, it's a really easy thing for people to connect with. Like, anyone else who's a teacher would be like, oh my God, you're a teacher? I'm a teacher. Like, let's talk about teacher shit. Or if you want to talk about physics or anything, it can just be a normal part of the conversation on your stream. You don't have to feel like you need to shoehorn it in, like it has to have a place because you're playing X or Y game. It can just be part of who you are, and putting it out there is probably going to provide, like, a better place for you.
Okay. Awesome.
And for everyone listening.
And then my third and final question is, when I come down to GuardianCon, can I buy you a beer and give you a hug?
Everybody wants to buy me a beer. If I had a beer at GuardianCon with everyone who wants to buy me a beer, I'd be dead.
Yeah, that's completely understandable.
But yeah, you can totally give me a hug, dude. I like hugs. I'm not adverse to hugs. In fact, if you don't, I will be so mad.
Well, then I will make sure to find you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be out there on the floor and saying hey to everybody as much as I can. I know I'll probably still be very busy, but it should still be, you'll be able to find me. And if not, you can tweet me and be like, hey, Broman, here's where I am, and I'll try and hunt you down.
Sounds good. I'll just be like, hey, Broman, you promised me a hug, man. I have audio evidence of this.
Yeah. I promise everyone hugs, dude. I'm all about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Awesome, dude.
It means a lot. You and Goth, I started watching you guys when D1 came out, back when I was in college, and you guys, you and one other streamer, really helped inspire and pave the way that I wanted to lead my channel. So I thank you guys for that
man.
so much.
I hope that it turns out really, really well for you.
I mean, here's hoping.
Yeah.
Trying to live the dream.
I love it, man. You want to shout out your channel so everyone can find you?
My Twitch channel is kill_plays, twitch.tv/kill_plays. Same on Instagram and Twitter, and then Facebook
is it
a mess
kill as in KIL?
Yes, because I actually went through a rebranding. I used to be Kilroy 1993.
Sure.
And I cut off the Roy 1993.
So no double L on any of that, folks. It's just KIL.
No. KIL _ plays.
There you go. All right, dude. Well, thank you very much for tuning in and asking your questions. I look forward to maybe getting a hug and talking about physics with you in the future.
Would love it.
I love it, dude. Thank you.
Have a great one.
Guys, if you don't know when GuardianCon is, and if you're listening to the podcast and you're like, what the fuck is that? Because I've talked about it a bunch, but I don't think we've ever done like a bumper for it. GuardianCon is a gaming convention held in Tampa, Florida. It's going to be July 13th and 14th this year. It has a charity focus. Last year we raised $1.3 million for the kids of St. Jude. This year we're trying to raise $2.4 million, and I think we're going to do it. You can check out the website at guardiancon.co, and tickets are on sale at the very same website. So let's see if we can grab somebody else in here. Let's grab this guy's name is Space Jesus, and I'm going to take a risk on Space Jesus. We'll see if Space Jesus wants to talk. He is Jesus, and he is from space. All right.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, sir.
What's up, man? What can I do for you?
Going back to the topic of long-term engagement on stream, I was really wondering this. How do you continue to keep your games interesting to your audience? That keeps you from wanting to stop playing them.
So you cut out there a whole bunch, but I'm going to guess your question is, how do you keep your games engaging to your audience without playing them so much that it makes you want to stop playing them? Is that what your question was? Cool. So he's completely cutting out and I can't hear him at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and answer that question because I think that's what he has. So, I mean, if you're talking about long-term engagement and you're playing a single game, you don't want to burn yourself out. So you want to be able to introduce variety. You want to be able to introduce variety as soon as you can, even if you're very focused on one game, because it's going to do two things. One, it's going to give you a break. And two, it's going to introduce your community to things that you love that aren't just the one singular reason that they are there. So if you have a follow-up to that, go right ahead. And I would recommend speaking up because it sounds like your Discord settings might have your voice attenuation set low. Like yell at me.
There we go. That should be better now.
Much better.
Okay.
So did I answer your question or not?
Yeah, that was what I was trying to ask.
Cool.
Thank you.
Excellent. Do you have a follow-up on that one?
Yeah, my next question would be that going kind of relating to that. How do you say once a game starts to near the end of its cycle and you don't have anything else keep playing to keep your content going, how do you for something, or do you keep doing what you were currently doing? What do you do when it starts to die?
So what do you do when a game that you love sort of loses the interest of its core audience?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in the problem, okay. If you're in the situation where you weren't planning ahead and you were leveraging everything off of one game or one type of content, if you're, not a gaming creator, you are placing a really risky bet, because if you don't diversify at all, by the time you need to, it's going to be too late. The best plan that you can possibly have is to prepare for whatever is next right away. Like right away. So the moment you reach the height of whatever popularity you have in idea number one, the best thing that you can do is start building idea number two right away.
Right.
So if you're building out in one game and it's going really, really well on Twitch and you're like, wow, this can't get any better, that is the time to start playing other stuff, sprinkling it in, introducing other things, your other social media platforms, maybe your YouTube, your Instagram, whatever, because people are going to be more inclined to cross-pollinate all of your other socials because you are at peak engagement. If you're on the back end of that and you're trying to push all of that while, let's say, the popularity of your channel or you is descending, it's going to be much more of like a panic mode and it'll be much less effective.
So, like, prepare ahead and start preparing new content before.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Exactly. You need to be, the second that you have success, you need to be ready for the next thing. Or you need to be planning ahead for the next thing. like basically I like to say you need to plan to win. If you're planning to win, you have a step 2 after your step 1. He's I can't hear him at all. Space Jesus, thank you super a whole bunch for tuning in. Sorry we had so many audio issues. But if you could hop in the chat room and type out your channel name, I would be happy to shout you out. Thank you very much, dude. Technical problems are always hard to deal with, guys. It's always mega rough. Always mega rough. So to sort of continue on that idea of planning to win, one, if you're already sort of caught in an over leveraged situation where you are really pushing one side of your content and you weren't preparing for whatever was next, it doesn't mean it's over for you. It just means that you didn't do things optimally. Okay. I'm not saying that you have a death sentence. I'm just saying that you're probably going to have to act like you are back at square one when you are rebuilding on another platform, and you need to be prepared to do it. And that fucking sucks, but it's part of what happens to you if you don't plan ahead. If you plan ahead, you'll have a foothold somewhere if things start to wane in one location or another on your socials. But if you don't plan ahead, you're going to be in a tough situation. It's going to be tough shit, and it's going to suck, and it will not be fun, but it's not impossible. Just because things aren't optimal doesn't make them impossible. So don't worry too much about things like that. Just know you're going to have to keep working really hard. Not like you wouldn't be working hard anyway. You know, you might have a foothold in one location, okay? And if you're trying to push out into another location, it's really easy to get people who are heavily engaged when you're at your peak popularity, and it's more difficult to get people engaged afterwards. Now, there's other metrics like the quality of your engagement for the people who stick around no matter what's going to be greater. So perhaps the repopulation across all the other platforms is going to be more meaningful and have more depth of impact. But if you're talking about from a volume standpoint, that's the best way to do it. That's going to be the absolute best way to do it. So those are a couple little bit more thoughts. Someone else asked about, well, if that's step 2, what's step 3? It's a 2-step process. One, you have whatever success is coming to you, right? You have a plan for that. Then you have a plan to do what is after that. When you see step 2, you win, right? You get really good at that one thing. You start executing on thing 2. Now you're planning for thing 2 to win as well. Okay. And if you're planning for thing 2 to win, 1's done, you've won. 2 is about to win. So that becomes 1 again, planning to win. And then you do a thing 3. You do step 1, step 2 over and over and over again. So you're always ready for the next thing. Always ready for the next thing. Let's get David's on David's on a run is what I think. Hey David, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Not much.
All right. I had a question about modding on Twitch.
Oh, that's a good one.
Alrighty, I wrote this down. So, what do you have some tips for trolls as a mod? I know that as a streamer, like you said, fuck them, get out of here, go do something else. Okay. But as a mod, how would you have them handle it?
Give me some context.
So say that, you're helping out streamer, but you see somebody just not enough to have them banned, but you just see them putting down other people or saying some stuff that the community and us, it doesn't fly with us.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have a lot of different approaches to moderating an online community. So, number 1, if somebody's being negative, you can just flat out remove them and then move on.
Okay.
Right? You can literally just say, I don't appreciate whatever it is that you're doing, and you can remove them. It gets a little bit more complicated if it's somebody who's, let's say, been around on a channel for a long time, which is kind of why I'm guessing that you're asking this question, is that...
Yeah, that follow-up was going to be, even if say that it's a sub that's been there for, say, 6 months.
So that's when things get a little bit sticky, right? So when you're moderating a community and there's somebody new or somebody you don't recognize, okay, and you're just like, fuck off, dude. Like, you're a douche, you ban them, and you all move on, right?
Yeah.
But if you have someone who's had a long-term relationship with the channel, they're recognized, and I mean, this goes anywhere, folks. This isn't just Twitch. This is any online community. It could be on Instagram. It could be the person who's always interacting with you. Like, it doesn't matter. This can be a longtime supporter. It's hard because if you want to dig into the psychology of it, there's this phenomenon called a parasocial relationship that develops, which is a one-way connection with from the person who is consuming the content towards the person who's creating it. So the consumer feels like they have this incredibly intimate and deep connection with the creator, but in reality, it's one direction. So it can cause some really fucked up stuff.
Yeah,
there are people. Listen, I love everyone who's a part of all my communities, but like it's happened many times where someone has gotten like way too involved. Like they start asking me questions that are like personal questions from shit that I talked about 5 years ago on Facebook before I was even streaming on a Facebook account that I don't even use anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like it starts to get a little bit weird. So in that situation, okay, you have a couple of options. One, before you even get started, document everything, right? So if you're talking to them on voice, record it. If you are talking in Skype or Discord or wherever, screenshot everything, because this is the internet, and people start some bullshit and then it turns into I said, they said, and it can cause a whole bunch of drama that documentation would just help avoid, right? So that's step one. Step two, try and have an honest conversation with them. Say, hey, listen, I know you're not technically doing anything wrong, but you are constantly skirting the edge of sensibility inside of this community, and I would appreciate it if you just stepped back from that. And if the person gives a fuck, they're going to react to that in a positive way. They're going to go, oh, dude, I know. I just, I'm pushing. I like pushing people's buttons, blah, blah, blah. I had no idea that this could, I didn't want to make anyone uncomfortable, whatever. And they'll back down. The person is probably going to be a permanent problem if they try to begin arguing with you about how they weren't breaking the rules and you're overreacting. Like they're going to try and gaslight you. Like you're the one that's wrong, not me. You don't see this the right way. You need to adjust your perspective. I'm right. You're wrong.
Where they go on the attack, they're attacking you.
Exactly. So, if somebody is there and you have that confrontation, you'll know very quickly if it's a salvageable situation. If they immediately start being standoffish when all you're asking them to do is to continue to support something that they love already, just in a kinder fashion, and they react negatively to that, just get rid of them. I think that a lot of people's advice around this subject really circles around trying to read between the lines, but like, fuck that. Like, that's what a toxic person wants you to do. Constantly guess at their motivation. You'll know. If the person wants to change, they'll say immediately, like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. They'll want to move on. They'll want to try and find a path forward. They'll apologize. If they don't, they're going to be standoffish assholes, and you just need to get the fuck rid of them.
Okay.
And that's how I would handle it. And I know that that's like abrupt and a little rough, but the thing is, the more time you spend on this one singular individual in a population of potentially thousands or hundreds of thousands, that you are wasting time on that person that could be spent investing into somebody who really wants to be there.
Right, because you're dealing with this one person, they could be pushing away tens of other people that want to invest in the community.
I mean, and the ripple effect of that one negative piece of shit, they might be pushing so many people out just because their attitude is that off-putting. I've had that happen before. I've had longtime viewers DM me and say like, listen, I can't be in your channel when X is around. Can you do something about that? And if I get 3 or 4 of those messages about one person, I'll ban them, no questions asked.
Okay.
Even if they've not done anything wrong, air quotes, like if these are people who've been around for years and years, and suddenly they have a problem with one person in particular, and these 3 people that I know, they're not in cahoots. They don't ever talk and chat at the same time. Like they're never there together. I know it's a problem because I know my community.
Okay. Okay, and then a quick follow-up question.
Yeah. I was going to ask, do you have anything else? Anything else? It's a rough subject, so as many follow-ups as you need, man.
So, as a mod, like I said, I've had those conversations with people that have, said stuff in the chat. We've worked it out. They say, hey, that's just how I am. I said, yeah, we're trying to keep this community a little more fun, a little more upbeat. And that kind of stuff doesn't fly. And they're cool with it. Other people, we've had to just plain out, that's it. One shot, that was it. It's out the door.
Yeah.
But as a moderator, I try to take more of a hands-off approach. I try to help the streamer and do commands, that we have set up, whatever game we're playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Little stuff going on. Is it better for me to do the commands or to get the viewers to get used to doing the commands?
Training is always better.
Okay.
Training is always better. The less you have to forcibly, brute force the answer out of someone, the better. This is something that Co Carnage brought up on Streaming 101 when we had him a while ago, is, as a broadcaster and then secondarily as a moderator, your goal is obviously to promote your channel's operation the way that you want it to operate. And there's nothing that's more rewarding than looking and saying you see something in chat and then it gets banned by a moderator before you would ban it, but it gets banned before you even say anything because people are starting to get what you're about. And then that trickles down to viewers who are like, hey, mods, get this person out of here. Or this is the command for the countdown for the next thing that we're doing. People start to inform and educate themselves and each other, and it makes your job as a moderator much easier.
Okay. All right. And then one more question I have is, how do you pick your mods? I mean, I'm a mod myself. I don't stream.
Yeah.
But how would you pick your mods, or what's a good guideline for picking a mod for your Twitch channel?
I mean, I have a pretty complicated, I guess, set of requirements. I look for people who have exhibited or can exhibit social control over my chat. So they're the people who can redirect a conversation that's going in a bad direction in a good direction with a joke or with, a change of subject. Or they know how to engage a negative person in a way that doesn't, it's just them and that person, doesn't detract from the channel as a whole and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. So when I'm looking for mods, I'm looking for kind of high levels of social skill or high levels of knowledge about, if I play one game primarily and there's someone who has just a fuck ton of game knowledge, I want to put them on because that's going to make my job as a broadcaster and my other jobs easier because my other mods won't have to sit there like educating themselves and reading books to stay up to date because we have an organic mod that just does that.
Right. He already knows, okay, in this game mode, we need, this is something you need to know and
get
exactly, up the other mods with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I have one final question, a little bit light.
Sure. I like that.
We ask anybody that plays with us. Pineapple pizza, yay or nay?
I don't like pineapple pizza, but that's because I'm allergic to pineapple.
Oh, okay.
It'll give me massive fucking diarrhea, so it's like a non-question.
All right.
I mean, everyone else is allowed to have their opinions, but if I eat too much of it, I would die. So that's my opinion. For sure. David, I mean, I know you came in here as a mod. But do you want to shout out your channel or maybe the channel of the person that you moderate so that they can come, any potential future mods can come watch you work and learn?
Well, I do the best to my ability. I wouldn't say I'm A+, but A-.
You're in here thinking about these questions. You're pretty high up there on the list, my friend. Don't sell yourself short.
Okay, so the channel that I moderate would be twitch.tv/specialist_Dex. We'll be streaming tonight.
Oh, Specialist Dex.
Battlefield 1. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dex has been on the program before. He's been on.
Yes, he has. I've been trying to get on ever since.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, go check out Dex then. That's 2 shout outs for Dex, guys. Thank you very much, David. You have a good night.
Thank you, Broman. Have a good one.
All right, dude. Peace. Yeah, man. Dex is cool. Moderating is tough. Moderating any online community is tough. And it's really interesting because it seems like a new thing, right? But group community management, like people have always looked at and elected leaders. No, I mean, even if you want to go all the way back into like when we were all living in huts together and stuff, there were always like 2 or 3 people who were sort of in charge. Finding and identifying those people who are strong personalities that can command attention. It's a skill like anything else, and paying attention to them when you are running an online community is so important, and being able to identify and work with them will sort of help you take everything to the next level. It'll definitely help you take everything to the next level. All right, let's grab, there's a lot of people, and let's get this guy. This is Arctic Preacher.
What is happening, man?
Not much. I'm over here dealing with some stuff while we're talking to you. What can I do for you?
Rock on. Well, hey, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man.
Dude, it's been a blast listening to the podcast, trying to get caught up, and so that's I do a lot of cycling, so I try to get that in my ears while I'm riding. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Here's a question for you. I have sort of discovered that I love streaming.
Excellent. It's a good thing to discover.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Like I like in my like IRL life, I tend to build communities anyway. That's just I'm good at that, and so I have a knack for it. Right, cool. So then I started moderate. I've got a couple of channels that I moderate, tons of fun, and then I'm like, well, let's see what happens when I stream. Could be fun. Get people. You've talked about how people jump into the channel, and it's like that's your next high. It's like interacting with that person, and I have found that it is a drug, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Here's the hitch. Okay, I'm a family man. I am married, have 2 kids, and my wife does not love that I stream or and doesn't love the amount of time that I would devote to that. And that's fine. I love her more than I love streaming. Right.
Gotcha.
So how do I stay, I guess, involved in the Twitch community? And like, I guess, where do I delineate that line between trying to make sure that I'm paying enough attention to the needs of my family and also like still being an active community member, I guess?
Yeah. Well, first of all, that's an incredibly like personal conversation for you and your wife to have, right?
Right.
I mean, I used to just tell folks like, you just need to go all in, blah, 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 blah. But there's, I mean, if you're single and you don't have other responsibilities, that's a great answer. For you, my answer would be this. You need to sit down and break out the hours of your day, right? Okay. Like, let's get really practical with this. Break out the hours in your day. I work. You say I work for these 8 hours. I spend these 2 hours with my kids. I spend these 2 hours with my wife. Figure out what free time you have in a day.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And then, if whatever you have left, use that for your hobby. Right.
Sure.
And in this particular situation, everyone is happy and you are coming last.
Right.
Your wife will be happy because she's getting the same amount of time that she usually gets with you. Your kids are happy because they get the same amount of time that they want to get with you. And and your work is getting the same amount of time there, and then you're using the leftover time to chase your dream, right?
Sure.
So many people, including myself, okay, had to start operating that way when they began chasing their dreams. So for you, that's what I would recommend.
Awesome. Yeah, that's incredibly practical. And I think, you know, I'm lucky enough, similar to you, I work from home. It's awesome, you know, and so it's like that is a dream come true. And so being able to have, you know, Twitch open on one of my 3 monitors all the time, that makes it easy to be like a community member, you know. But it certainly, and even my boss is cool if I, you know, disappear for an hour and a half and play video games, you know, like that's totally chill. I know my wife would hate it if she, you know, comes home from work and sees me not working and playing video games. She's like, come on, like do that like at night or whatever, or whenever, like you're supposed to be working, like, but which is fine. I can manage that part of it, but you know, it's, you know, I found that, you know, like, I sort of expected you to say something like, well, play to your strengths. You know, you talk about modding, and I do some graphic design stuff too. So I try to stay engaged in the community that way also.
Excellent.
You know, I've done a few logo designs for a couple different people, and that's fun for me. And I guess maybe what I'm trying to figure out is, you know, do I continue to stream and pour some time into that despite, you know, it's a hobby. Like I'm not trying to come out here and make a 6-figure income from streaming. Like that's not ever going to be my dream, but being able to, you know, to engage in a community like that is a ton of fun for me. And so, you know, I almost wonder if maybe streaming isn't the right thing to do, but like figuring out these other ways that I can stay involved in the community, like, you know, developing logos for people. And,
I mean,
moderating channels and what have you.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it sounds like you had an answer that you wanted me to say anyway, which was play to your strengths, right? Because you brought that up because you said, I thought you were going to say this. Had I known you were a graphic designer, I probably would have brought that up.
Right. Yeah, I guess I forgot
the thing that you love about that's fine. If the thing that what you love about Twitch is the interaction, there are a lot of different ways to get involved that don't involve streaming.
Sure.
And we'll take this all the way out as everybody in the world starts to create content, whether you're a mortgage broker, okay, an investment banker, or an Instagram model. Everybody has design needs. And I used to think that was like bullshit. I was like, why would I ever pay someone to, but it's true. Everybody's going to have design needs. And if you love Twitch and you're on Twitch that much, you already have a wealth of creative knowledge as to what the practical needs of a broadcaster or a content creator are, which is a massive asset.
Sure.
So the interesting thing that you're presented in is that you get to choose how you want to be involved, right? Since you have a secondary skill set that plays directly into your current job. So do you know about Captain Twaz? Do you know about my designer who does all my stuff?
Yeah, I've sort of stalked him a bit. You know, as soon as you tweeted something out, you know, years ago when he created your current logo.
Yes.
And it,
do you know about before that?
I don't, not at all.
Okay, let me break this down for you because it'll be a nice practical case study for you to understand. Okay.
Sure.
Twaz had a job before he started doing all this design stuff. Okay, and it's about I want to say 3.5 years ago, or right around when Destiny came out. Twaz showed up in my chat. He was in my chat a bunch, but he was in my chat and a couple other Destiny broadcasters chat, and he just said, "Hey, I want to show you an image that I made." Oh, okay, cool. Sure. Show it to me. And he pulls out this. So I had this idea about, you know, this concept in game about the speaker being an evil guy and all this other stuff. And so I made this image and it was like kind of like a movie poster, and it was called Trojan Horse. And it was a picture of the Traveler from Destiny in the sky, all black with lightning coming out of it. And then there were like 100 other of them, like, you know, scorching back into the sky and like burning the earth, and the speakers up front, like, ha ha ha. And it was just a really amazing concept. Right. So I saw that and I went, holy fuck, this guy's got a lot of potential. And so I started, you know, I guess everybody who works with him now started talking to him like, you should look into doing this more often. And so he started streaming some of his graphic design on Twitch. He did a lot of work for free up front for a lot of folks. But now he's a full-time graphic designer for a lot of folks on Twitch. He's worked on projects with Bungie. He's currently working on 2 NDA projects for game studios right now. And it all started with sharing an image that he created in chat that was appropriate in time and context, coming from someone who was a respected community member.
Right.
All of that stuff going behind the presentation of his image made it have that much more impact because I knew who he was. And I wanted him to succeed because I had engagement with him. I cared about him. So that's how he went from not doing it full time to doing this shit full time for AAA game development studios and broadcasters alike. And he does all right for himself. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach engagement. I would definitely encourage you to stream sometimes.
Yeah. Like a buddy of mine and I were talking, and he's like, so, I think for me, what it is like, I still play video games. It's not like I'm not going to play video games ever again, because of my family or whatever. Like, so my plan is like, well, if I'm playing video games, let's just stream it. Why not? Like, I'm already there. Let's get the stream online, So, yeah. One other sort of follow-up question that I've got in related to going down the graphic design route. There's a definitely, like, I think about return on investment and viable business models and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a pretty business-minded individual, so what I kind of wonder too. I've helped several smaller, pretty small streamers as they're just starting out, kind of get everything set up. I went through all of the process of kind of creating a stream without actually having a community or any of that kind of stuff, and it was that I loved that. I love the technology and figuring out. Audio issues are an absolute nightmare, and it's oh my gosh. But helping other, like, now that I've got all this sort of experience doing that, even though I don't actually use those skills on my own stream necessarily, but it's fun for me also to help other small streamers like through that process.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a viable business trying to like help smaller streamers or streamers with technical issues, like that kind of thing? Like, is there something there?
Yeah, so I want you to go back and listen to another podcast I had with a guy named Grindhead Jim. I can't remember which episode he's on, but he has the same idea, right? He wants to make a help desk.
Sure.
So sort of from an aerial view, he looked at everything that's happening in the content creation space and all the issues that they have. And he's like, every other industry has a help desk that you can call into. And we sort of discussed business modeling and monetization. The issue is when people are starting streaming, there's a wealth of information that's already available for free.
Right.
So your end consumer might not necessarily be a starting streamer. But I have had multiple occasions where I was like, fuck, if I could just talk to an expert, I would. And I would have paid I probably would have paid like $100 if I knew my problem was going to get solved in 2 hours.
Right.
Because it took me 10, 20, 30 hours to solve it myself because I'm not an expert.
Right.
So it's definitely there. And I would go look him up and get in contact with him about that idea. And you guys could maybe work together and try and make that business come to fruition. But I'm a big believer that there's a lot of every industry is going to continue to be represented as, all of mankind moves forward.
Right.
People always want help desk stuff. A help desk solution is always going to be part of the equation. You just have to sort of figure out how to get it in there and market it.
Sure. Awesome. I think honestly, I think you've done a really good job answering my questions. I super, like I said, I super appreciate the podcast. I really appreciate you taking pulling me in here and chatting with me. So it's been
absolutely, man. I mean, there's no podcast without everybody asking questions. You asked some good ones. Do you want to let everybody know where they can find you on all the socials and stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
So they can check you out.
Yeah, Twitch, it's twitch.tv/thearcticpreacher. And on Twitter, I've got this pesky underscore, it's Arctic_preacher. So
all right, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I love it, dude. Thank you for calling in and asking. And as always, like, you can always tweet me and ask questions and follow-ups and stuff. And I'd love to help you out more as you get a little practical and figure out how things are going to work for you.
Rock on. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, dude. Talk to you later. Peace. All right. That was really good. These are some really freaking good ones. today. All right. Usually we cut it in an hour, but I'm going to take one more question today because I feel like I want to, and there's a lot of people waiting that I have not seen before. So let's grab Rakanu. Rakanu, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. What can I do for you today?
I got two questions, one related to business and one related to streaming.
Sure.
So I'll start with the streaming one. So I've grown my stream in two different categories. I started off in creative with cooking, and then I transitioned to gaming when cooking became uneconomic for me, so it was too much money to do on a daily basis.
Sure.
And I'm not converting any regulars, and nobody's following me over from any of them. And then I'm getting large viewer counts, but no follows and regulars. And I was just wondering what you have tip wise to help make that happen.
So which side of the equation is what happening on?
Well, right now I'm doing gaming, and got none of my previous 500 followers from creative are coming over, like absolutely none of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was a popular JS streamer, and that game's pretty much crashed, and that's why I was talking about the games dying and it being too late, and none of them are following over into the new games.
Sure.
And then none of the new viewers from the new game I'm playing are following. So I'm not converting anybody into regulars.
It's a long road before you can start making like deterministic statements like that. How long has, this transition been going on for you?
4 months.
4 months. Okay. So like one of my favorite examples on Twitch is Dr. Disrespect, who blew up this last year out of air quotes nowhere. Was doing what he does right now for about 4.5-5 years on Twitch before he got huge. So patience is key. Okay. Like you can't just assume that because something isn't working right now that it's not going to work forever. The second part of that equation is you do need to still pay attention to your metrics and figure out what is or isn't working. Do you feel like there's a reason why people aren't engaging with the other styles of content? Do you think it's just the game? Like, what do you see on the ground?
I honestly don't know. Like, I get very good interaction with chat, and so I'm an active chatter, but they don't stay and they don't come back. Like, I'll have people come in and they'll spend 2 or 3 hours chatting and then they never come back.
That's okay.
So I mean, like I don't want to say I'm a big streamer. But 10, 15 people for me is more than enough. That's all I'm really looking for is a community, just someone to share what I'm doing with at the moment. And that's the great level for me, but I'm not getting any consistent, and I'm not making any, like I want to call them friends. I'm not converting anybody into friends on Twitch, because that's why my Twitch is for the community and the culture of Twitch. And I'm not able to grow that in my stream for some reason.
I mean, that's okay. Growth is important. And if your goal is growth, I'll just tell you right now, you're on the wrong platform for it. Like if your goal is to just see your engagement numbers go up and up and up, you need to try Mixer or you need to try Facebook Live, because you will have a higher % chance for growth there than you will ever have on Twitch, because it's not as saturated. Okay. So that's my answer. Is if you're really committed to Twitch, stay on Twitch, be patient, it'll work itself out. If you're really committed to growth, you need to go and find somewhere where you have more space.
I agree. It's just Twitch's culture is what speaks to me the largest. That's why I'm committing to Twitch.
Sure.
Like I love everything about Twitch. So, but my second question is about business. I have a couple questions. I don't know what your level of involvement is with your coffee company. If you're just an investor or if you're
I'm an owner.
Okay. So
and I'm the marketing. I'm the ad hoc marketing director. Yeah.
Okay. So are you primarily online, or do you have stores?
Everything is online. Yeah.
Okay. So do you guys have a UPC, or is that something y'all are looking into?
I mean, we don't have UPCs. Well, we dev'd them for, or whatever the right word is, for retail sales. So like we have, retail markings and everything for all of our products. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so I don't remember I don't know if you remember. I was the one that came in and talked about the mushroom farm. Since then, my idea for the mushroom farm has kind of evolved into a true micro farm as far as microgreens and lettuce spring mix and stuff like that. And I was gonna gear it towards selling it to grocery stores, and I was gonna ask about the process of getting a UPC. And
that's
then also,
not a question I can answer. You should contact, if you want to talk about that process, you need to talk to our logistics guys. They are on, they're on Twitter. They're available whenever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so
then,
that's not my department, unfortunately.
Fair enough. And then twofold. The marketing part of it, how do you plan about going about getting shelf space? Like is that your department, or is that going to be somebody else too?
How do we go about doing the marketing?
No, yeah, the big part of when you start the farm is you have to go in and sell to the grocery store, so you have to acquire shelf space, and I'd wondering if you had branched into that yet for your.
That's not going to be my job either. My job is online marketing. So I handle all of our advertising that we do on Facebook and Instagram, all of our influencer advertising on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, targeting things and understanding our numbers on that side. As far as getting things into stores, we have a lot of natural organic reach as a company because two of the people that own the company have a larger than 1 million social reach on all of their socials combined, which is a great platform to draw from. So the business actually comes to us. But when it comes to getting into local businesses around where our roaster and logistics folks are in Long Island, New York, they are using their built-in network, basically going door to door, knocking business to business, pounding the pavement, asking, would you like, here's our product. They'll set up a tasting and then they'll sell through that way. My approach is going to be drastically different than yours because one of the biggest problems a new business has is visibility. That's not a problem that we have because there's a lot of native promotion happening by the nature of who is involved with it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, man. That was all I had. Thank you for.
Cool. Do you want to explain to everybody what your mushroom farm idea is? Because there's going to be a lot of people listening to the podcast that are like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And I'm sure they're interested. So I want to give you, give them your 2-minute elevator pitch about what you're doing.
All right. So I'm extremely culinary in nature. Like everything I do revolves around food. And so the idea of growing natural, organic, gourmet mushrooms is really appealing to me for my personal use, but at the same time is a very lucrative business. Some of the mushrooms like shiitakes and oyster mushrooms sell upwards to $15 to $20 a pound with very little initial investment. As a grower, you can grow really fast. And so that's my idea as far as mushroom is not the hallucinogenic kind of the gourmet mushroom to sell to restaurants and grocery stores.
Yeah, that's really interesting, man. I would, honestly, if I was in your position, I would start getting, really comfortable with meeting people from your local food scene and building those relationships now so that when you're set up and you're ready to start selling, it's not a blind ask.
I got you. Yeah, that's a good advice.
All right, dude. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Oh, man. All over the place today. I feel bad that I couldn't answer his questions, the last couple questions about King's Coast. But, I mean, when you own a business, you don't always do everything. Now I feel like I was underinformed and I need to learn more about the UPC process from Pete and from Wayne. Fun stuff today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play or Anchor, or if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, thank you very much. Please, 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 you could become my best friend if you would subscribe to the podcast, share it with your friends. The whole purpose of this is to make your life better. And if you want to tune in the next time we're doing this, please follow me on Twitter or Instagram. I'm at Professor Broman. I always let you know when we're doing this live. I would love to answer your questions. I don't do repeats yet. So if you show up every time, it's just a matter of time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will catch you all next time. Peace.